Patrick, we opened the month and the year with a look at what Odyssey can achieve together over these next 12 months. And I know a big theme in your talk was evidence dissemination. Can you go a little bit more into that and what you're hoping the Odyssey community can do this year?
Absolutely. So, each year we try to identify one area where we think Odyssey can really make a difference. And over the last several years, we've really made great progress towards standardizing data, standardizing an analytic pipeline, standardizing diagnostics to ensure that our evidence is reliable, even standardizing the process by which we can follow to generate evidence. But one of our critical barriers that we keep running into is that that last mile of disseminating the evidence, getting it out into the hands of decision makers, the patients that we serve, we're still not necessarily firing on all cylinders in that area. And I think in part that's because we work so hard on the front end of the process and we haven't actually had collaborative focus on that back end. And so really excited to see the leadership of Mark Suchard and Nicole Pratt and Atif Adam in establishing an evidence dissemination work group. And really the charge that we try to put out to the community is that evidence dissemination is a shared goal of everybody. Every one of our work groups is looking to generate evidence, but it doesn't just stop with producing a number. And not until we can understand what that number tells us, understand how that number should be used in decision making, and then getting that into the hands of decision makers, whether it be clinical guidelines, policy, or patients' decision making. Until our evidence is in the hands and really impacting patients' lives, our job's not done. I think there's a great opportunity for us as a collaborative to focus on evidence dissemination as the science of evidence dissemination being something that we can really make great strides in 2024.
I certainly look forward to seeing the progress that can be made from that work group and just kind of the whole concept in general. This month we heard about, you talk about the work being put in to generate the evidence, and we've heard about two different creative ways of trying to generate evidence. Obviously, there's network studies that happen, but we talked this month about, the studyathons, and we've done a number of them, and the UK studyathon in late 2023. And then, of course, this month-long Phenotype February activity that is now happening its third year. Can you talk a little bit about the creative and the innovative ways that Odyssey is trying to do this research?
Yeah, when we started Odyssey, I was really focused on how do we innovate in the science of evidence generation and innovate in data standards and methods research and open source development so that we could innovate on making the process more efficient and more reliable. But what I've actually come to realize is that a big area of opportunity is for us to innovate in collaboration, innovate in the ways in which we can work together as a community to achieve our mission. And I'm really proud of the ways in which we've been creative in trying new ways to collaborate. Our work groups is a good demonstration of how we're trying to empower people to create opportunities to have shared interest. The studyathon, which we saw a beautiful demonstration of that with the UK studyathon, is just one and now a long series of exercises where we pioneered this idea of bringing a small group of people together for dedicated focus over a short period of time. And with that focused burst of energy, we make tremendous progress towards generate evidence that you wouldn't do if you're just meeting once in a while, once a week or once a month. And we've seen great excitement that comes out of that, as well as some really pioneering scholarship. And so it was great to have the team presenting that work. Phenotype February is another example where we come up with a community structure to collaborate on an area of shared interest and try to come up with fun and creative ways where we can advance the science, but also advance the ways in which we can collaborate together. So I appreciated at the end of the month seeing the kickoff to Phenotype February and the direction that we're going this month with trying to engage even more members of the community to work on a shared area that really advances Odyssey's mission.
We talk about the creative aspects of collaboration, but there's a very clear scientific core to Phenotype February. I mean, this is the third year we're doing it, and you've said that there's so much work to be done on phenotypes. Can you just go a little bit into why this is so important for research to really kind of establish and develop and validate these phenotypes?
Yeah, three years ago when we did our first Phenotype February, my my intention there was to try to get the entire community's energy and enthusiasm towards this shared area of phenotype development evaluation, really get everyone to understand that whether you're trying to generate evidence from a characterization analysis or doing causal inference in population level estimation, whether you're doing machine learning with patient level prediction, all of those are based on having reliable cohorts that serve as the input to define your exposures of interest, your outcomes of interest, your indications. And all of that work is predicated on this science of phenotyping that really is immature across the entire research community. And so while we really shined a light on that 2 years ago, we made even more progress last year during Phenotype Phebruary. The reality of it is that the problem's not done. And as we showcased at the end of the month, we can even see even today published papers in high impact journals showcasing phenotypes that are insufficient for use and are inconsistent with what's previously been published and used. And so I think there's a real opportunity as an Odyssey community for us to develop an advanced understanding of the science of phenotype development, to create a better evidence dissemination strategy for our phenotypes, and to try to align the research community towards using these best practices and applying them in the research so that everybody can have even greater trust in the evidence that we're generating. And I think we can start here during Phenotype February 2024 by looking back at the evidence of what's been done and kind of taking stock of what our current reality is, but also hopefully coming out with a consensus statement about what's the right way for us to report out these phenotypes in our publications so that people really know that they can trust the evidence that we generate.
And this really is a community-wide activity. There's a number of different people that can, jump in and have some sort of impact. So the form to sign up to be part of Phenotype February is in this newsletter. We'll hear about Phenotype February each week during community calls. We'll also hear OKRs from the different work groups within the Odyssey community. So when we talk about different ways of collaboration, there's going to be a lot of that happening in February, both collaboration and ideas for future collaboration. So it's really going to be an exciting month, a fun month, as Phenotype February has been for the last couple of years. I'm looking forward to seeing how it goes. Thanks, Patrick.
Thanks, Craig. Science!